The interview was about the state of the city. That was it.
And
okay?
I'm asking you questions about the state of the city.
No, the state of the city has nothing to do with the tapes.
No, I'm asking about...
And breaking news from Warren, where Mayor Jim Fouts isn't happy about some questions we asked him just a little over an hour ago.
Topping our news at 6, fresh off his first pre-recorded State of the City address, the mayor of Warren allowed us into his office this afternoon.
He talked with great enthusiasm about new businesses in the city and tackling problems like heroin overdoses and flooding prevention.
But when the topic turned to recent controversies, the mayor's demeanor changed. Jermont Terry was the one asking the questions. He joins us now live with more. Jermont, the mayor doubling down really on his denial that his is the voice on those recordings.
Yes, Devin, the mayor continues to stand by his word that that was not him and is not him on any of those audio recordings. Now, you have to keep in mind that this is the first time we've had a chance to talk to the mayor one-on-one since any of these tapes came about. Now, of course, we came here to talk to him about the state of the city, but nothing was off the table. But apparently the mayor thought that the tapes were not going to be discussed. You see the city of Warren moving in the right direction.
It is moving positive. It's moving in the right direction, and I'm very excited about it.
Warren Mayor Jim Fouts speaking one-on-one about the state of the city, economic growth and development, his key talking points.
I think that indicates great news for the city of Warren. It means that we've got a lot of industrial development, investment in the city. That means it helps out taxes. It means more jobs.
But after talking the state of the city for more than 15 minutes, I brought up the now infamous tapes that accused the mayor of making disparaging comments against blacks, women, and children with special needs.
With all respect, I agreed to this interview to discuss the state of the city and nothing else. This is my focus. I'm very proud of all the achievements we're doing.
And sir, with all due respect, we have been trying to talk to you for several weeks.
I understand that, Jermont, I am going to state it clearly now. My understanding is, Jermont, I'm going to discuss the state of the city.
The mayor then tries to end the interview.
Jermont, with all due respect, you're not being fair to me.
I'm being very fair.
Jermont,
what else do you want to talk about with the state of the city?
Jermont,
don't take the mic off, sir. There's more to discuss here.
Jermont, with all due respect, Jermont, I appreciate
Mayor,
it.
Was that you on the tape?
No, that was not me on the tape. But that was a manufactured, engineered tape. You can do it by Adobe software. You can do it by a number of things. And not only that, only my voice is identified in the tape. No one else is. And I'll give you two. Wait a minute. Let me answer. Let me answer the question.
Because we really want to hear from you at this point.
All right. Two answers. Number one, I have the presumption of innocence, number one. Number two, I've already said that that is not my voice and that is a manipulated, manufactured tape.
Okay, so what do you say to the people in Warren who feel as if they need to hear from you,
Well,
sir?
number one, the people in Warren want to hear about the state of the city. They are
there are
tired.
Still people that want to hear about these tapes. I'm asking a question with all due respect, Mayor. Do you believe by not talking about this that this will go away?
Sir, right now I'm talking about the state of the city.
And again, you can see the mayor only wanting to talk about the state of the city. Again, we will acknowledge that he's talking about some positive things going on within the city of Warren, but most definitely it doesn't appear that these audio tapes are going away. The mayor still denying that it's him. But again, this was our first time one-on-one with him, and after that interview, I was escorted out of the office, and that's how that ended. For now, reporting live outside City Hall in Warren, Jermont Terry, Local 4.
Jermont, I want to make clear, though, before the interview, there was no agreement that all we were going to talk about with the mayor was a state of the city, which he almost kind of seemed to suggest that that was what he was there to talk about, but we wouldn't have made that kind of agreement, correct?
You're exactly right, Devin. Nothing is off the table. Whenever we do interviews, we don't even tell people what we're going to discuss. You're going to invite us in. We're going to have an open dialogue, and that was still the case here at City Hall with the mayor. The state of the city was something that only he wanted to talk about. But again, we hadn't talked to him, hadn't had a chance to talk one-on-one with him for months.
And not for a lack of trying, that's for sure, but our first chance to really talk to him today. Now, on our Local 4 Facebook page, we asked for your thoughts on Mayor Fouts' decision to pre-record his State of the City address.
Of the 150 or so votes, 88% of you feel he should have delivered the speech live, while 12% of you have no problem with it being pre-recorded.
We've also got a lot of comments Here's a sampling. Richard writes, how can this man be an effective mayor if he is hiding all the time?
And Sammy says the way he's disrupted in open meetings speaks for itself. I would say who is to blame? It was done this way except those disrupting when he speaks. You can join the conversation on the Local 4 Facebook page.